Hey everybody, Jayborino here, welcome back. Continuing StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. We're on Mission 3, the Spear of Adun.
Hierarch, we are en route to the Spear of Adun. As long as its generators still function, I should be able to bring them online. Once the spear is fully activated, we must flee from this fallen world.
Alright, achievements here. Use warp gates to warp in 5 units within 10 seconds of each other, no problem. And then Sprinter Cell, finish the mission in less than 15 minutes. I do not plan on getting this one. This is actually extremely challenging to do on Brutal. I have been able to do it, but I was unable to complete the optional objectives. So there may be a way to do all of that, but for this playthrough, I'm actually going to skip rushing through. And then with the Mastery, it's to destroy both enemy bases, which actually makes the map go on for quite a long time. And I expect that we're going to spend a lot of time on the Spear of Adun, doing a lot of dialogue, cinematic stuff at the end here. So I think I'm just going to play this mission pretty straightforward, not rush it, and not destroy the enemy bases. It'll all be fine. This map is actually pretty challenging, I think. One of the hardest Brutal maps in the whole campaign.
The Spear of Adun lies dormant beneath the heart of the Conclave. I had hoped to raise it, to secure our victory against the Zerg. But now, it is our last hope for survival.
Artanis, why do you flee from your salvation?
Selendis, she has fallen under Amon's control. Karax, we have to bring the Spear of Adun online.
The first power cell is activating, but the remaining 4 have been disabled by creep.
I see. We have no choice but to clear them. What of our defenses?
Unfortunately, they are without power. However, the Spear of Adun support systems can aid us. They will allow us to deploy pylons anywhere on the battlefield. We should deploy one here as soon as possible.
Use deploy pylon. Well, we'll wait for our fancy schmancy top bar to become available, and we'll do just that. We just need probes here at the beginning.
These photon cannons can defend our nexus points, Hierarch. They require only a pylon to function. You can warp in a pylon using the Spear of Adun. Press the deploy pylon button at the top of your command screen. Our cannons will now fire upon enemies within range. If they become damaged, the shield battery will restore their shielding.
These defenses will indeed be vital to our evacuation, but our first priority must be to clear the power cells of creep.
I am detecting unpowered warp gates nearby. Constructing a pylon next to them would restore their power, giving us an advantage. The Spear of Adun's deploy pylon ability would be ideal for this. Of course, our probes can always warp in pylons as well.
Okay, now we got all that out of the way. Just endless explaining.
Warp gate online. We can begin warping in warriors from it immediately, Hierarch.
There we go. We can't build warp gates yet, but we will here in like 30 seconds. I don't know why you're not able to have them right at the start, but maybe you have to complete one of the optional objectives before it lets you do it. I'm not really sure. I'll go ahead and start +1 straight away.
We can now transform our gateways into warp gates. This allows us to warp in warriors to any area with pylon power.
Okay, I'm going to turn off charge on these zealots, because the first few attacks, I don't want them running too far down the ramp, because then it'll draw enemies up to us, and I don't want that. And for the majority of this, we're just going to be making a lot of stalkers. I'm going to try to finish this map somewhere in like the 25 to 30 minute in-game timer. Again, the 15 minutes is possible. I have done it, and maybe I'll make a separate video to show how to do it, but again, I hadn't quite figured out a route to do it without barely winning, like my base was about to fall, but then I also wasn't able to grab.
Circling bioforms on approach to our nexus. We must rally our defenses.
I also was unable to grab one of the bonus objectives also. So we're just going to get a ton of stalkers here right at the beginning. Well, really throughout the whole map, and let's just spend our energy as well. Okay, these Hydralisks are going to lose vision, and they're going to meander up here. And again, we don't want to be running too far down this ramp. We don't want to waste our units. Okay, Stalkers looking good. I'm going to grab my other Geyser here. We're only spending gas on on upgrades and stalkers, so we're probably going to have an abundance of gas near the end of this. And now we're just going to sit in our base and get a bunch of stalkers for a while. Probably wait for the next enemy attack before we decide to move out. We can just swap our chrono boost soon enough over to the forge. Now, I actually find the Mastery achievement easier to get on Brutal, significantly easier. I don't find it really challenging at all, it's just really time-consuming to destroy the 2 enemy bases. Because the enemy attacks, the big enemy attacks, I should say, on this map are spawned. So even if you destroy the enemy bases and you have to set up your own base to get the resources to kind of make up for the fact that you had to spend a ton of money to make units to get up there in the first place, you still have to build a ton of defenses up there to defend those bases, and you have to do that twice, so it really is pretty time-consuming, which is why I don't really recommend bothering with it, mostly because it doesn't really require a super strategy, just a lot of time. But again, maybe I'll make separate videos for the achievements that I did not get in this playthrough here at the end. When we finish this and get through Nova Covert Ops, maybe I'll go back and say, alright, what did I not get? And I'll consider making videos for that. I don't know, right now I'm not really feeling like I need to, because a lot of them, again, it's really just, you go in, you tunnel vision on one strategy and it tends to work out just fine. But, I don't know, we'll see. We'll get there. And we're waiting for these upgrades. I got 1 extra probe to come with us later. I'm going to grab an extra warp gate right now, actually. Gateway into warp gate, I should say. And then let's just keep spending our deploy pylon. So that saves us money as well. So deploy pylon is nice for the utility of having a pylon anywhere you need it. But also, when you think about it, it's excellent to be able to save however much money. We've already saved, what, 200-300 minerals in this map just by dropping those? So that's quite nice. And then, again, we're basically just going to sit. I'm waiting to get attacked by the next set of enemies, and then I'm going to move down, destroy the first constriction, and then move on to the next part of the map. Every time you destroy a constriction, you get sort of ambushed by an enemy attack, like warp prisms just appear out of nowhere, stuff like that. Like something happens such that, again, enemies sort of pop out of nowhere. So you want to be ready for that, which is why I'm sending this probe down here to set up some additional defenses. Nothing major, but I will be spending a lot of money on defenses throughout this map. So we do this. Now I'm going to move down here and go for the constriction. These zealots are doing exactly what they need to do, which is to run into the front and die, to protect our stalkers from taking too much health damage. And then again, as soon as we destroy this constriction, what's going to happen is there's going to be enemies that pop out on the left side of the screen out of nowhere. These zealots will, not these zealots, the Zerglings that were here will most likely be rebuilt as well. So like I can build stalkers.
The second power cell is active. The Spear's sensor array is reacting.
Do not deny your destiny, Artemis. Your people have finally found true unity.
Okay, and then I'm going to come over here.
Sensors online. Wait, what is this? Warp prisms approaching our nexus point.
Stalkers, eliminate those warp prisms.
Okay, you don't need a ton of defense to push back against that, but you need enough. I think you just need like 1 or 2 cannons is enough to focus those down. And then I'm going to build cannons up and along this ledge. Don't get stuck first, please. And then this is going to allow me to... Where can I just cram these shield batteries? That's good. Poorly placed pylon, but that's okay. And then I think like this wrap of cannons should be good with some of these shield batteries.
Another pack of Zerglings is approaching our nexus from the south.
Okay, some Banelings come with this one. There's a little like semi-trick we can use here. You want to blink right on top of the Banelings, and then you sacrifice 1 stalker, and then nothing else will get hit by them. So that's helpful. I'm going to come down here and lure some of these units to me.
Struggle no more. Be released from your pain.
Get out of there. Lost 1 stalker there. These immortals are tough to deal with. Okay, turn this into a warp gate. Let's get shields. Okay, and this is our second optional objective. This is the one that I've been unable to get if I try to do the 15 minutes. And by taking this, it just sort of opens up the way to cut across this bridge if you want.
Karax, I've brought another warp gate online. Prepare it for immediate use.
I tend instead to just wall this in. Alright, this should be pretty safe from anything. And then I'm also going to send this probe up here. I'm going to build like 1 or 2 extra cannons because we're going to get attacked up there. I can also, I'm going to move over here and clear out this to ensure that it's open. And I'm going to come and grab some extra mineral pickups. And then these also give you some, where the constrictions were, the generators, they give you a pylon power. So that's very nice as well. Okay, now we're going to start pushing down into the Zerg, which can be quite annoying, unfortunately. We're going to deploy pylons out here. Get a couple extra cannons. Again, just sort of showing off the, the defenses on this map. Okay, head on over here. Yeah, we're running short on minerals. We want to move down this ramp soon, but I don't feel like I have quite enough stuff. I mean, I have a lot of stuff, but I'd much rather hold off and ensure that we don't have too many losses as we push down into the next area. I think shields just finished. We can just toss this on a warp gate now. And then at one point, want to make sure that we warp in from all these warp gates at the same time to get that other achievement. Again, not super important, but, you know, it is what it is. Okay, probe. Now we're setting these up to deal with any ambushes that might happen with the next section. I just want to kill individual pieces of this defense. This should be pretty self-sufficient at this point. Now let's keep inching. We do have an infestor who's going to try to fungal growth us. I say nay. Never mind. I say, okay, fine. I'll take it. Okay, we had some mutalisks that flew in there. I didn't have to really deal with it, though. And then you go ahead and throw down some cannons over here. Let's back up here. Again, we're luring these individual units to us. Whoa, look out, buddy. Oh, he already used flank. No! No, he lives. Come up here to get our last optional objective, and just enough energy on Spear right now to get that set up. Now, all these individual Zerglings...
Well done, Hierarch. All of the abandoned warp gates are now under our control.
All these individual Zerglings tend to get reinforced from their main base, so I'm actually going to set up some cannons down here while we wait and get some more units set up. So for now, again, we're just going to kind of hang out until we get some more units.
I would advise caution, Hierarch. You are approaching the Zerg's hive cluster. It will be heavily defended.
Okay, there's all of our, we got 6 warp-ins at one time. That should be, you know, enough for whatever we needed. Now, I could move up and destroy the next part. I don't have to, but, you know, I could. I'm also going to come up here, throw down, like, 1 safety cannon up here. Some extra pylons as well. Up there, down here. We're putting, again, these individual cannons just to stop units from getting to us later on. We'll get, like, 1 extra cannon here. And then we'll send this probe back over in this direction. This should be enough cannons. I might just get like 1 or 2 extra ones just to be relatively safe. Okay, that should be good. Then we'll come down here. I see an incoming enemy attack. Just get ready to blink individual stalkers away as they're getting focused down. Hydralisk's very, very good against stalkers. At this point, I'm mostly just waiting for more resources and waiting for this creep to recede so I can set up some additional defense here, because the attacks that come from down here are pretty large. Yeah, see those Zerglings trying to get by? They'll just keep rebuilding those. And each area basically will keep rebuilding until you destroy the constrictions. Once you destroy the constrictions, they'll stop doing that. Okay, well, I guess we can get some stalkers up here. I actually forgot about this little attack. But we'll get some of these stalkers here to help clean it up. This is the only other air attack I think that happens on this map. Unless we waited a little bit longer, but I'm not really sure. Now that we did that, I am safe also to come down into the middle section, and we'll set up some cannons down there. I just wanted to wait for those scouts to go away. Okay, now we're just going to get a boatload of defenses down here. We'll wall them in as well. And for now, we can just set the stalkers here. I think if we kind of move up in this direction, I want to lure that guardian down to me so that we don't have to deal with it later. There we go. Now, they won't be able to reinforce these units on this that are up this ramp because we're cutting them off with the defenses that we're setting up currently. So we'll just do a pylon here. Okay, and again, just we're setting up a lot here because eventually they come with like a bunch of banelings and ultralisks, and if we kind of cut them off, then it's same as with this side. We don't have to worry about them. And again, this is the static defense map, and if I'm not going to rush it and I'm not going to destroy the enemy bases, I'm going to play it in a way that kind of showcases the whole point of the mission, which is, you know, get enough defense in your base to feel relatively safe. Let's just blink on in here and help clean this up. Gonna lose a couple stalkers here. That's okay. Just blink away what you can. We probably saved a good amount of units just by blinking. It's kind of like the burrow micro that we were doing on Swarm Queens back in Mission 3 of Part of the Swarm. Something about the Mission 3s, man. They're pretty tough. They can be pretty tough. Okay, now we just want to allow some time for these to get some energy back. We definitely have enough stalkers here that I could move up the ramp. I want to get this defense set up here. We realistically only need like 2 cannons and maybe a shield battery to push back. Nidus worms will pop out over here. You only need 1 or 2 cannons to deal with those. So that's good. And you'll see that these units kind of block themselves on the ramps, so they're not going to be able to get up here because we walled them out. And in fact, those Dragoons going a different way may be bad for me, because they may try to come up this ramp where I'm not really prepared for them. But that's okay. And we'll get some additional pylons as well.
Base is under attack.
Okay, no, yeah. See, they're trying to come up. They're not sure where to go. It's fine. And we'll give them one shield battery as well. Okay, so now I'm going to move up into the next constriction. Got more than enough pylon, supply, power, what have you. Okay, these stalkers getting fungal growth and then get torn up by a flippin' ultralisk is not good. But we did, I mean, we blinked a lot of them out. It's okay. This is, yeah, gonna keep getting hit. We're safe down here. Let's move this pro back down, I guess back to base. Okay, next constriction down. And we can watch where the...
Every hand turns against you. Even the ground beneath your feet carries the seeds of my victory.
Okay, so you can see we had cannons everywhere.
Warriors, strike them down. We are not defeated yet.
Right, and again, yeah, we saw them all over the map, so we knew where those were going to pop out. And then with our remaining money and remaining time on the map, we just have to make more and more stalkers. I think right now we have enough to push towards the next constriction, and we have defense everywhere to push back against possible Nidus worms and what have you. And I'm just going to keep an eye out for, like, what is the Immortal attacking, and that's where we just want to... That's what we want to blink out, because that's what's doing the most damage to us. Okay, and again, just looking at individual stalkers to blink. We can get a pylon here. No attacks come... If you're cutting off the Zerglings, no attacks will come from this direction. And then we can just make more stalkers.
Life is broken, flawed. It must be reforged.
Okay, this is a good pace. I think the right side is about to get attacked pretty hard here. Okay, those poor Dragoons just trying to wander into our units. Okay, that's a large attack that's going to go for our static defense, so I'm not going to intercept that with stalkers. So this is the attack that I was thinking of, lots of Ultralisks, and there's going to be more later. But you can see that that can hold its own. And once these Zealots are gone, then these Immortals won't be able to shoot up the ramp. Well, some of them can, but, you know, if we lose that one, that's okay. And then we can just keep making more Stalkers. Constriction is gone. Let's go clean up anything left.
Finished, Hierarch. The Spear of Adun is nearly online. Only one cell remains.
Enough. The end to the cycle of infinite madness has come. Cease your struggle against the salvation I bring.
Okay, we just got rid of that one Nidus Swarm. There's one up here that is a little out of place for me to destroy in time. That's okay, though. We have some errant cannons, so let's go and destroy this. And then there's warp prisms that are setting up. You'll recall that I did set up some cannons up here. Not enough, apparently. Let's blink this guy back into our cannon. And then our Stalkers can take this out. Okay, I think I just didn't have enough resources to set up that single cannon, but otherwise, you can see we essentially camped the spawn, which was my goal all along, just to kind of show, again, you build, like, you know, you build some errant defense all over the place on this map, and you'll stop any sort of surprise attack that might get to you, which is, I think, kind of the whole idea of the introduction of shield batteries and having your cannons be able to be more self-sufficient. Okay, we have more than enough stuff. The other nice thing about this particular map is that you tend to finish it with very little resources in the bank, but we're at the point where I've got, like, a ton of, not a ton of money, but I have a lot of,
Shall be one. All conflict shall end.
I've got a lot of units, so I feel it's going to be pretty satisfying to finish this not by the skin of our teeth. You know, I think we played this pretty well. We preserved a lot of units. And we're going to finish with a pretty large army still. So coming up here, there's an area with a bunch of Banelings, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm probably going to use a full health Stalker, because obviously if they die, then it defeats the purpose. The Banelings will still live. We want the Banelings to connect and die. There we go. So now there's way fewer Banelings, which is the whole idea. And we can lure pieces of this group to us. And then just blink individual units out there getting hit by the hybrid. Very large attack here. Tons of Banelings, which is going to just smash through these buildings. Pretty sure we have enough stuff anyway to kill all the roaches, and then we'll just keep making Stalkers. And you know what? Just auto attack into this, I guess. Here, we don't have to attack into the spine crawler at least. Wow, he just obliterated that Stalker. Okay, and now let's get in there. There's one hybrid left, but there's no Banelings left, and the Zerglings that are down here do get reinforced. You can see some of them trying to get down there, which can be annoying. But it's nice to feel like we're completing this map with a lot of stuff still in our army and not just barely. Because a lot of the times when people play this map, again, most people say that they find this map to be one of the harder ones on Brutal. But we did it with a large army still left. You can see they're still sending Zerglings down here to try to reinforce. I say nay.
Power transfer completed. The Spear of Adun is ready to depart.
Warp all firstborn free from Amon aboard, Facesmith. We must flee this world if we are to survive.
As you command.
Alrighty, not great from the achievements perspective, but that is okay. Again, hopefully I kind of explained why the Mastery and this Sprinter Cell are just not, I don't think, really worth getting in this video. The Mastery, again, would have been a lot easier, but it probably would have taken 10 to 15 minutes more in-game time. It just takes a long time to get those other bases destroyed, set up, and defended, and then going and destroying the second one before you go and finish the map. And we're going to go to the Spear of Adun now, and there's going to be a ton of stuff to explore and people to talk to. I mean, not that much, because not not all the characters are there yet, but still, it's going to be a long video because of that.
The Spear of Adun, a marvel of Kalai engineering, and last of the 3 great Ark ships. Each created to ensure the continuation of our culture in a dark time. Within its chambers rest contingents of zealots, Templar who bravely sacrificed, entering suspension so that they may serve as this vessel's army. Though it pains me greatly, I have begun severing their nerve cords. The ship's lower decks contain a star forge capable of constructing weapons of war. There is much to learn about this vessel. Its technology is ancient, yet highly advanced. We are aboard a relic from a glorious time when our culture shined as a constellation. The celestial array has been updated, Hierarch. From here, you may select our next point of travel.
With this vessel, we will avenge what has transpired, Karax, and we will free the Templar.
Okay, so we can go to Core Hall or Shakuras. I typically go to Core Hall first, but I might swap it this time.
Ire is lost once more. My great vision of reclamation left in ruins. This shall not stand. The Terrans of Core Hall have in their possession the Xel'Naga Keystone, which Zeratul foresaw would lead to our salvation. Though I have not seen Commander Raynor in many solar returns, I believe he will give the Keystone to us.
Alright, alternatively, I think it makes more sense. Given what's happened, we're going to want to circle the wagons before we go out and try to get the Keystone, so I think let's go to Shakuras first this time.
The Nerazim of Shakuras ritually sever their connection to the Kala. Because of this, they are now the last free Protoss. I must reach them before Amon's armies.
Okay, let's do it.
No.
Hierarch, Shakuras is overrun. Loss of life is extensive. Hold. We are receiving a transmission.
Praise the gods. Artanis, you live.
Matriarch Vorazun, what has happened here?
Shakuras has fallen. The warp gate linking this world to Ire has been reopened. Countless hybrid and Zerg pour from the other side. They've obliterated our cities, decimated our Shadow Guard. We are trying to evacuate the remaining population, but I am uncertain whether we can hold long enough to get them safely away.
We will give you the time you need, Matriarch. My Templar are inbound.
Hierarch, before our armies engage the enemy, it would be wise to review our military capabilities within the War Council.
Karax, even without the Kala's light, I can sense your sadness, your pain. Does the Spear of Adun bring you no joy?
That is just it, Hierarch. Without the Kala, it is as if I am blind. I cannot sense your feelings, know the true depth of your thoughts. I cannot call upon the surety of other phase-smiths. I am alone.
I feel the isolation as well, as though thrashing within the vacuum of space. But you are not alone, brother.
To think, the Dark Templar have endured this existence all this time. The days ahead will not be easy.
We may not have the Kala to rely on, Karax, but we still stand as one. We will endure. There is no other option.
You'd be surprised what you can get used to, Karax.
My Dark Templar were tracking your invasion on Ire when we were cut off. Then the warp gate opened. What happened, Artanis?
Amon used the Kala to seize control of the Templar. I could feel his rage tearing through me, and I was powerless against it. Zeratul found me. It was there that he...
Yes?
He tried to free me. And he succeeded at the cost of his own life. He fell by my hand.
It was Amon's deed, not yours.
Zeratul came to me with a warning, but I did not act. Because of this, he is now gone, and the stars burn dimmer for his loss. Amon's deed or not, I carry a burden, Matriarch. One that cannot be easily lifted.
All right. Vorazun's like, yeah, I don't care. I'm glad you killed that guy. He killed my mother.
A preserver? Released from stasis?
She still bears her nerve cords. She's tethered to the collar.
Hold. I am Rohana, Grand Preserver of the Valari, and your War Council Advisor. You must be the Executor in command.
You are not possessed by the Dark One. How is this possible?
I feel darkness lingering at the edges of my every thought, but I am not corrupted. Preservers at my station have trained to control the Kala's every ripple. I assure you, I will stave off this evil and serve you better by doing so. As all preservers, I hold the memories and personalities of Protoss prior to my submission to stasis. This will allow me to contrast your tactical decisions with those of past executors. From this chamber, you will be able to make all military allocations.
I am Artanis, Hierarch of the Daylon. I lead all that is left of our civilization. Your memories are indeed of use, Rohana. But make no mistake. If you fall to this corruption, I will not hesitate to destroy you.
It is understood. I am prepared for the Firstborn's darkest hour. Come, let me show you what may be done here. The assembly panel awaits, Hierarch. We may begin whenever you are ready. The assembly panel allows you to customize your army based on the Protoss technology we encounter. Select a warrior category to begin. Now you may choose one of the two factions for use in upcoming battles. These assignments are not permanent and can be altered as our combat needs change. Many battles await you, Hierarch. Choose a faction and lead them to glory.
Alright, so we'll be picking these before each mission as we've done in the past. One thing that you may notice, this is like the mutations for Zerg, and of the three, this isn't true 100% of the time, but most of the time you'll notice there's one that's damage-focused, one that's focused on survivability, and the one that gives you some sort of utility-type spell, almost. So we can kind of point that out as we go through. I do plan on changing these up, like I did with the Zerg Kerrigan abilities and unit mutations, so we'll try different combinations throughout this rather than using the same stuff constantly.
I have heard only tales of the Grand Preservers. I did not expect to encounter one aboard this vessel.
That is not surprising, Hierarch. My sisters and I are unique, trained from birth to master every intricacy of the Kala. I have experienced its true depth, plunged the infinite spectrum of emotion and memory. It is because of this gift we were selected to enter stasis, so that we may guide you in our most dire hour.
Your sisters were aboard the other Ark ships? Then they...
are one with the Kala, fallen during the Zerg invasion of Ire. I know this. I feel the tragedy that has befallen us, more deeply than you may realize.
A terrible burden has been laid upon you, Rohana.
Yet it is my fate to bear it. A fate foreseen by the same minds that constructed this vessel. I trust in their wisdom, Hierarch. I will serve my purpose, much as you must serve yours.
There's a lot more dialogue in Legacy of the Void than the first 2 games, so we'll be spending a lot more time on the ship talking to people as time goes on. Kind of excited to be doing Shakuras first. I've never done Shakuras first. I'm going to have to change up my typical strategies and use different unit variations and such. Much like Heart of the Swarm, I was a little nervous, not nervous, but I was tentative, hesitant at first because I wasn't sure how I would approach each mission using different combinations of units and Kerrigan abilities, and I actually enjoyed the game so much more because I did that, so looking forward to this. And we're getting some more representation on the ship. You know, we got our ultra-conservative Rohana lady who kind of represents the Judicators in a way, Karax the Kalai cast, and then eventually we get, you know, the Nerazim representation, Tel'Darim, Purifiers. So I think that's pretty neat. You have a character from each of these different factions of Protoss. All right, this has been Jayborino. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. We'll start Shakuras. Bye now.